Hello there again. Hopefully, the day is sunny where you are. It's kind of sunny where we are. I think the weather forecast is for a bit more rain, but yesterday was quite good, so hopefully you enjoyed it then. This is Psalm 37, or specifically verses 5, 6, and 7. Hear what God has to say from His Word. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will act. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light, and your justice as the noonday. Be still, therefore, before the Lord, and wait patiently for Him. Fret not yourself over the one who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices. Amen. So there's the standard problem of evil. What's the point of following God when people who don't follow God seem to get on a whole lot better and don't get held back by ethical issues? But there's also, at this time, there's just the whole notion of commit your way to the Lord and He will act. And it's not just for the big stuff. It's not just for, medical issues where people are dying. I realise it doesn't compare to the loss that somebody has when they lose a loved one. But what I recognise is we're now in this situation where, at this point in May, well, this is Thursday. On Tuesday, Rebecca sat her last exam for her third year at university. Only she didn't sit the exam as such. Everything's just been turned into a series of essays. She did sit an exam the week before, and it was online. It was a 3-hour exam, and I don't quite get this. They had this window, this kind of virtual window in online where they could do the exam and submit it. And I realise it's just very unreal to sit university exams in an upstairs bedroom with everyone going shh outside and letting her sit the exam. I realise a recurring theme from Rebecca, as well as from lots of students, university students at least, it's not just that you don't get access to the libraries and the kind of university experience when you don't go to university. It's a mindset that means I'm at home, so I don't need to work too hard because I'm at home. Being in somewhere like a library or a lecture hall, or being in, the place, the town where the university is, it makes a difference psychologically because you are at uni, whereas you're not, and it changes the outlook, and it therefore changes the potential for the mark at the end of it. And that's just Rebecca. Hannah, well, 2 days ago was Tuesday, and that meant she was sitting her chemistry higher. Only, obviously, she didn't sit her chemistry higher. Some teacher at the end of this month will submit to the SQA what that teacher thinks she would have got in her higher. And so it's actually quite difficult to, and I'm not even the one sitting the exam, I'm probably worse, I'm her dad. This idea of somebody coming on for a thought for the day and saying, with a cheery voice and a happy demeanour, commit your way to the Lord and trust in Him and He will act. Yeah, I know He will act, but what's the chemistry teacher going to give my daughter for a higher exam? Because right now, that's the big deal. And not just her. What about the maths teacher? What did she get for her maths higher? There is this sense of their whole future ahead of them being defined by these exams. And unlike most situations, most years when it was down to, did you do the homework? Did you do the revision? Did the exam go well or not? It's down to literally somebody's guess. Maybe that's an insult to them. I certainly don't want to insult. Definitely don't want to insult them. Good teachers. It's just that whole sense of, it's not just the medical side that the coronavirus is kind of turning upside down. We're in this phase now where we would normally, if we were meeting on a Sunday morning in church, praying for students as they sit their exams. Hopefully, they're not really. And everything is kind of not quite as it's supposed to be. I don't know the specifics of your situation with regard to the actual virus and catching it itself, but I know it's not just the medical side of things that matters. What I recognise is there's all kinds of things where you have to say, this is not exactly how things should be, but I have to commit this to God, and I have to commit this in the knowledge that God will sort it. And then you think, God's not doing the estimation of my daughter's chemistry higher. And it becomes the kind of thing where you're not quite sure if you can do what the Bible verse says, because you're not quite sure if God's in charge, because it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't feel like it. And there may be stuff in your life where it's not life or death. It's not the stuff of, the NHS taking you in and putting you on your ventilator. And in that sense, you don't feel you can recognise it. You can raise it because, nobody's dying. Whereas the coronavirus really is mucking up a whole lot of people's higher results, because what they get as an estimate by a teacher and what they would have got if they had actually sat the exam, I guess it can feel as if your life is coming to a close. Nothing will be right ever after this. And I guess I'm just saying there are times when you have to go beyond the situation that you're in, and you have to go beyond the specific circumstances of the thing that's getting you uptight. Whatever it is in your life, whatever it is where it's not life or death, so you kind of keep quiet about it because it's not something you can realistically compare with somebody who's lost a loved one. But it's still a big deal for you. And because of the coronavirus, things are being done differently. And it's kind of like, well, this just sucks. And it can actually not be very helpful when somebody like me comes on the screen and says, commit your way to the Lord and He will act. It doesn't feel like it. God has promised, I will never leave you, nor will I forsake you. So whether it's hires, or whether it's university exams, or whether it's the stuff at work that's now being estimated and assessed in different ways, or whether it's stuff that I don't know about that's changing because of the coronavirus, and your work or your circumstances in some other way are changing in a fashion that's like, well, this is just rubbish. Stick with God. Commit your way to God. Because in the long term, that is precisely what will bring you through it. Probably won't bring you through it in the same way. You will be different, because I think things will be different. But above all else, stick with Him, and He'll stick with you. Have a good Thursday. See you soon. Bye-bye.